next month. We'll see. All right. Our next poet is Kira Goldring.
More lines again.
You'd know everything if you'd seen our toothbrushes. The handles used to cross each other, toss each other like storm to sea, adorn each other lavishly, but now the handles are handled with care. We'd brush together, not by each other, and she'd be crushed that I notice our averted glances, dances around every subject but ones we've forsaken and left to the cold. The mold on these walls cannot be scrubbed, and it's the layers that have buried us. We weren't lovers, but soulmates who flirted, skirted by with affected phrases to glaze over what we couldn't say, mistaken nothings, which became most things. Post-trauma, amidst drama, I won't judge up again. Why are we treading water if we both learned to swim? The fat was trimmed on our shared limbs, but somehow our differences have gained weight and our toothbrushes no longer touch. There's so much love lost in the bristles, pistoling in clumps that keep to themselves, carriers of barriers that can't be bridged, 7,000 miles filled with gilded ridges and stilted silence. How did we get here? Lately I ruminate over what made us. Spoken clovers of luck wove us, drove us towards polar bonds when she was at her worst, and I had a thirst for saving, rights waving, a craving for recognition, and I saw them. Her self-destruction implies there was something built to begin with, a divorce foundation enforced by hands-off mother and hands-on father who didn't bother learning the word unconditional. Traditional pain ingrained her veins until the day she noticed her heart beats her, pounds a fleet of self-fulfilled prophecy beneath her. She wears despair in her hair, and I know why they're called dreadlocks, bated breaths of beaded knots begging to be untangled, mangled confidence strangled in her curls, and last night's dinner hurled into next week. It is how she speaks calmly. And you think you've seen a call to arms, but when you look at hers, you forget the fight. Burns write a parchment paper journal across her valley. She carries a map on her body, but lives only in one state, all directions pointing south. Her mouth a fixed ruler of the straight and narrow, waiting for someone to notice, and when I did, it curved into smiling personalities, a storefront with aisles towards healing and tragedies. I am here for you, she promised, and she was, and I was, and we loved. She was my gloved compass, a trumpet's call to pick directions, and we always chose with simple perfection, the straightest line between our any 2 points, joint support distorted only by how much we cared, and we shared it all, laughed until the mountains shook and earthquakes took breaths with us. So why are our toothbrushes now defeated when once they needed just as much water as the other could give? Did we wean ourselves into happy separation, preparation for what the real world deals us, or did our language just change, range from support to misunderstanding until standing alone felt better than being next to what used to be and no longer is? Now we tiptoe while the others sleep, sled the steep hill of quiet relief when the phone keeps ringing, you singing as a placeholder for speaking, and maybe, if she'd see how our toothbrushes avoid each other, she'd destroy the dregs of this Freudian cigarette and put it out. The only thing harder than needing someone is realizing you don't, and I guess I'm letting go of her, but the kind of release that is heavier than holding on. I am not relieved. My gut will heave every time I see the written words, I need you. Smitten slurs of you're my favorite, and spitted blurbs of help me across a time zone that divides and has conquered. Besides, when she needs to hide, I will still be her iron fortress, dress her distress burnt, and smooth her bodied map until the state she lives in is tranquility. Fragility will ride us through this chrysalis and have these soulmates kiss goodbye. The most honest stories are ones that end. So let's pretend that what once was no longer must be. Our toothbrushes can rest easy, and I don't miss her every goddamn day. Sometimes pretending is enough.